Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. And today we've got quite the most random of obscurities in literature, just about everything. We're going to talk about one of my longest running favorite games. Because why not? Because, in case you weren't aware, Battle Cats, a video game that has been around for quite some time, Yonko Daisensou, has put out quite a bit, and this is its 11th anniversary in Japan, 10th anniversary in the US, and I thought, what better way to celebrate that than to actually get some cats for the tabletop. This is the larger size gacha cats that were released actually quite recently, what with the 11th anniversary and all being in 2024. So if you're in the market, this stuff is quite readily available. Now, there's been a few series of these, but the 11th anniversary I thought was one of my favorites, in particularly because it's got two of my favorite cats. One of my not-so-favorite cats, he's kind of outclassed, and this shiny guy who's just going to kind of really make a mess of the camera and shininess, so we'll keep the gold cat off of the camera. They're kind of funny in that these are actually the gacha capsules, and when you purchase them, they have like the little gacha paper inside, and you just have to flip. The legs are actually on the inside of the belly, and some of the cats, such as our friend, the warrior battle cat here, axe cat, whatever he goes by, depending upon which region you're in, have all of their exterior parts tucked away inside. So if you have like the sumo cat or the dark warrior paladin or any of those, all of the extra stuff that's all over them tends to be on the inside of their bodies. And I mean, it's pretty sturdy plastic, and it's pretty reasonably nicely painted. But that's not really what this video is about. This video in particular is about a couple of things that I always wanted to get a hold of, and I never did. So if you're interested in cats for your tabletop, fighting off Space Marines or whatever else, they are out there. There are smaller ones available in the candy toy-sized supermarket stuff. And there's been a couple series of those as well. And with the fact that it's the anniversary of the game for yet another year, well over a decade at this point, they've actually reissued a bunch of stuff as well, such as these cats, and my favorite of the tankiest of tank cats. And that's actually what I wanted to kind of talk about today. Because I actually got a hold of the Valkyrie Cat. And what's interesting is that as we look at the box, and usually I'm not one for very, gotcha type crane prize games, but I did want to point out that, as I said, this is the 11th anniversary of the series in Japan, so they actually reissued it. It did come out quite a few years ago, and so it was just kind of cool to have it, and I've always wanted to have something related to this at work. My students are always asking me, Mr. High Lord Tamberlane, what do you like to play? And obviously, Bloodborne and things of that nature are probably not the most appropriate to be discussing with children, so we'd like to keep it, obviously okay for school. Okay, can I even open this mess? I don't know, but as you can see, at least it's quite nicely painted, reasonable size. It's probably too big for any kind of tabletop usage. Here, let me see if I can free her from her shell. All right. Base, probably, I'd say 120 millimeter, if you wanted to actually use it for some sort of tabletop gaming. We've got her Valkyrie spear, pretty solid, a little bit flexible. We've got the spear tip. We've got the Valkyrie herself. Gonna keep it rated G. We're not looking under her skirt. But I do like the painting, I gotta say. Reasonably nice. Wings being nice and solid construction, if I can figure out how to put them in to the body. There's one. Not that I did a good job. There's the other. The pegs. Why do they look like they're like too short? Okay. Obviously I didn't do a good job of putting the wings into the body, and I don't feel like breaking it already. At least they're attached. Okay, and it looks like there's little pegs on the hands for her to hold the spear. She should be aiming it down, because that's usually what she's doing with it. Anyway, that's not even what this video is about, but if you wanted to actually use it for tabletop gaming, I mean, it might make some kind of an interesting goddess representation, and I guess I actually did it wrong looking at the artwork on the box, or photographs, I should say. I'm just used to seeing her actually attacking with it. And it looks like we go... There we go. Voila, we have our Valkyrie Cat. You wanted to use her for some sort of Sisters of Battle army? Be my guest. Use her for some sort of fantasy army? I mean, hey, why not, right? I mean, she's pretty fairly well balanced, actually, I gotta say. She'll be hanging out somewhere else. That's still not what I actually wanted to talk about today, because it is, as of the time that this is getting uploaded, a Friday, which means, well, it's time for some obscurities in literature, and it's still going to be related to those damn cats. Now, I wanted to get these books for my kids when they were little, and my wife would not let me. And so I found them super duper cheap with Suragaya's constant, near never-ending free shipping sales. So I was like, I am finally going to get them. So I got Sagashite Nyanko Dai Senso, which is like, let's find the cats. So you can see, it's going to be like one of those Where's Waldo type books. And if you've played any of the games, a lot of this stuff should look familiar, and they do have all of the Japanese names if you're not familiar with a lot of them, which I thought was kind of a nice touch. And the art is just absolutely chaotic. And I'm absolutely here for it. It's just insanity on a page. Now, obviously, if you wanted to sit there and do the whole let's find Where's Waldo type thing, but you've got like the school activities, underwater cats at the beach. We've got Nyukai na Morio Shin something about like party in the forest. Japanese sucks. On the moon. Stupid aliens. I hate those starred aliens. I've gone through Battle Cats probably 4 major times in my life. For extended periods, I should say. And at this point, in the year 2024, they have finally gotten to the point where you can link your game to a online account. So after all these years, you had to have an awful password, and I screwed them up every single time. So I'm just happy to finally have my game safe when I transfer phones, because that's always been the case. I've lost my progress, but I'm actually pretty back far in it, so I don't mind. I love the bombers and all of the various war cats. Again, it's just craziness. Good mood. We got the drunken boxer, kung fu cat, Michael Jackson cats. Always with the weird statues. And if one of those books wasn't enough, they made a sequel, Molto Sagashite. Find them again. And I feel like the second one's even more crazy with just the amount of stuff going on the screen. page. And most of this stuff, if you've never played the game, are actual characters and units that you would use. This big, giant, disturbing thing with the horns coming out is absolutely one of the cats in the game. Yes, it's a cat. And that's debatable. There are tons of giant dragons. Those are also technically cats because they are all accompanied by them. There's also the Space Marine cat, who's always been a cool one. It's just weird stuff. And I don't know. It's like one of those games, either you get it or you don't. It's also quite fun. And if that wasn't enough, we found the Machigai Sagashite. This is going to be the Spot the Difference type book. And yes, it's full of cats and the evil dogs of the game, which is sad because I love dogs and I don't really even care about cats. Again, these are all various designs that have had appearances in the game at one point or another and are absolutely chaotic in their designs. Would my kids have enjoyed them? Probably not. Do I? Absolutely. Do I own the actual cat encyclopedia at this point yet? No, I do not. Will I in the future? You betcha. But it's just a fun, silly thing. If you haven't had a chance to check out the game, I would strongly recommend give it a spin. It's actually one of the very few free-to-plays that you can actually, well, enjoy yourself and make some significant progress without spending a dime if you're patient and stick with it. But considering for the anniversary, they've given out tons and tons and tons of freebies, like really nice stuff, might be worth checking out. So that's just my fun little segue here. And with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.